Coming up, touchdown. New pictures of the Mars rover's incredible landing on the red planet. Also ahead, Dr. John will answer your latest questions.
Do all hand sanitizers expire?
Plus, they're back.
I'll have to introduce you to my enforcer.
Legendary frenemies unite for a new mission with an important message.
I think something that I really enjoyed in this movie was the idea of unity.
And out of this world, we'll introduce you to this aspiring teen astronaut who is hoping to follow in the footsteps of a female pioneer. Her story coming up.
Your mind is the limit. You can get anywhere with whatever you think.
This is NBC Nightly News, Kids Edition.
Welcome back to Nightly News Kids Edition. I'm Lester Holt. Thank you for joining us. We've got a jam-packed lineup today. We'll head to outer space and put you to the test. We'll also update you on a couple stories making headlines this week. Plus, our pal Jackson Daly will be here to tell us about a new project. Two not-so-best of friends have joined forces with actress Chloë Grace Moretz, and we can't wait for you to meet this teenager from Florida. But first, our top story continues to be the coronavirus. There's some good news. New cases continue to decrease across the country, and the number of people getting vaccinated continues to increase. And one of the nation's top health agencies, the Food and Drug Administration, says a third vaccine could be available soon for adults pending authorization. All right, joining us now in our Ask the Doc segment is our pal, Dr. John Torres. Dr. John, our first question is from Rhode Island, and it's a timely one.
Hi, my name is Evan, and this is my sister Siobhan. And we're from Barrington, Rhode Island, and we're turning 8 on Sunday. I have a question. My and Grandpa got their vaccine. When will me and my sister get ours? We love Kids Edition. Bye.
All right, bye, guys, and happy birthday as well. Dr. John, I know they're working on that issue right now as to how soon before they can get shots for kids.
You know, they are working on it right now, and that's why your Nana and your Grandpa got the shot now, because they're giving them to older adults, then your parents will get them, and then you'll start getting them. They're still first going to give them to older children, like 12 to 17-year-olds, maybe by the summer, but for your age group, 8 years and below, it's probably going to be in the fall, maybe even the start of next year. So we still have about 8 to 10 months to go, but they're getting there. They just want to make sure it's safe and it's effective before you do get it.
And of course, that's really, really important. Our next question is another good one. Here it is.
Hi, Lester.
Hello, Lester. My name's Logan.
And my name's Brooke.
And we have two questions. One of them is do all hand sanitizers work?
And the other question is, do all hand sanitizers expire? Bye.
We love Nightly News Kids Edition.
Yeah, bye.
Thanks, guys. We're glad you're watching, and you made me pick up my hand sanitizer. Is there an expiration date, Dr. John?
You know, let me answer that first part about do all hand sanitizers work. They don't all work. You want to make sure they're alcohol-based hand sanitizers. They have at least 60% alcohol, and you can tell just by looking on the label how much alcohol is in there. Again, 60% or higher. But this question about expiration, this is great. I didn't even know these things had expiration dates on them, but they do. And if you look at the bottom or at the side, you can see this one here, May 2022. This one here is on the bottom. It's June 2022. If you look at this one, it's on the side in really little letters, March 2022. But the thing you have to realize is some don't have expirations. I looked everywhere here, couldn't find it. If it doesn't have an expiration, throw it out after 2 years after you bought it. It's not going to be dangerous, it's just not going to work as well. And if you don't remember when you bought it, it's probably best just to toss the ones that don't have them and buy one with an expiration date.
Okay, and I just found my expiration date, June 2021, so I've got a few months. All right, our last one comes from Colorado.
A few more months.
Hi, my name is Nick. I live in Colorado Steamboat Springs, and I'm 5 years old. My question is, whatever you bring to a hotel, can it get coronavirus, whatever it's made of on it, and then you can bring it home with you?
That's a really good question, Dr. John. As you know, I travel for this job a lot, and all the hotels I've been to, they seem to be really trying to disinfect them. But what should we know?
You know, hotels are doing a really good job at disinfecting, but there's some things you can do too. And the main thing, when you go into the hotel room, clean all the high-touch surfaces. Those are doorknobs, the faucets where you turn the water on and off, the remote controls for the TV, clean those, sanitize those. But as far as the things you take in there, the toys you take in, do you want to bring them back home? Yes, they can be safe. If they're toys like this that are vinyl or rubber, you can just go ahead and wipe them down. If they're different kind of board games like these, same thing. You can wipe these down as well. But if they're more cloth ones like these, you're probably going to have to put them in the washing machine or somehow hand wash them to sanitize them. But it is a good idea to do that once you get back home to make sure everything there is safe as well.
All right, as usual, good questions and good answers. Dr. John, thanks.
You bet.
Now we want to update you on another story making headlines this week. Famous golfer Tiger Woods was in a really bad car accident in California. He's in the hospital right now recovering from injuries. We want to wish him well and let him know he's in our thoughts. Tiger Woods is regarded as one of the greatest golfers and athletes of all time. Also making news this week, NASA is sharing some pretty amazing pictures of its car-sized Perseverance rover, showing the descent, the deployment of the massive parachute, and the moment the rover hits the red dirt on Mars's Jezero crater. For space geeks like me, that's pretty cool. Keep the pictures coming, guys. And speaking of Mars, time for our pop quiz. We thought we would test your knowledge on Mars. The question is, what is the average distance in miles from Mars to the Sun? Is it A, 93 million miles, B, 142 million, or C, 185 million miles? We'll have the answer later in our show. Well, speaking of space, there's something really cool you will be able to see in the sky this last weekend of February. A full moon will peak as a snow moon. It's known as the snow moon due to the typically heavy snowfall that occurs this time of year. The night sky will light up with the rise of the snow moon on February 26th, so mark your calendar. Now let's switch gears and turn to our 5 Questions For series. 2 legendary rivals are back and have united for an important mission. The story unfolds in the new movie Tom and Jerry. Here now is our pal Jackson Daly, who speaks with actress Chloë Grace Moretz about the movie, the message, and what it's like working with Tom and Jerry.
Hey Chloe, I watched Tom and Jerry. The movie's amazing.
Thank you very much. I'm happy you enjoyed it.
So, can you tell me a little about your character Kayla in the movie?
Yeah, for sure. Kayla is basically a young woman who just loses her job, and she's on the hunt for a new job, and she tells a pretty big white lie and gets herself into a pretty high-end position at a hotel. And then when she's tested with her very first task of ridding the hotel of a mouse problem, she thinks hiring Tom to get rid of Jerry would be a good idea.
I'll have to introduce you to my enforcer.
And I mean, as we can probably imagine, that ends up blowing up in her face.
Yeah, they're not the best of friends. So, what was it like, because Tom and Jerry are animated, what was it like acting in front of nothing?
Yeah, nothing. It was probably what you can imagine. It was pretty silly. Half the time I was having to act opposite either a tennis ball or a blue X with a little name tag that said Tom. And then, what we started to realize is the more that I would improv, the better it was for the animators, because they are silent characters. So the more that I would make up that they were doing, the animators could go even further in post-production.
So Tom and Jerry, they're TV legends. Was it fun working with them?
Of course, they're definitely big divas. They've been around for 81 years. So they've lapped all of us several times. That little mess you caused downstairs, it's a disaster. You know what? But no, they didn't show up knowing any of their lines on set, and always gotta have the finest cheese for Jerry. He's a snob.
What do you think's like the big message of the movie that you want like kids to learn about?
I mean, I think something that I really enjoyed in this movie was the idea of unity.
I'm gonna plan an entire day for you two to spend together.
I think that I grew up with a bunch of siblings, and I don't know if you have any siblings, but you might pull their hair, you might trip each other up, you might punch each other, but at the end of the day, you eat dinner together, and you're a family. And I think what's important about this story, and especially right now in our country and across the world, unity is something we need to focus on, and coming together across different boundaries and being able to know that we might tear each other's hair out, but we're all in this together.
So switching gears now, you've been cooking a lot over COVID, is that right?
I have been cooking a ton over COVID.
What are some of like your favorite meals now to cook?
Well, I was really into, especially at the top of quarantine, baking sourdough bread, because I love bread of all kinds. I think carbs are the best things in the world. So I got really into baking sourdough bread.
Wow, bread's hard. Props to you.
Thank you.
So what is like one thing that that you're dying to do when COVID's over?
Probably hug my friends. You know, I'm really lucky to live with my mom, and I miss being able to see my brothers. So for me, being able to hug my friends and spend time with each other and just not be worried about getting each other sick.
Thanks for talking to me.
Thank you so much.
All right, thanks, Jackson. Great interview, and I can't wait to hug my family and friends, too. Finally, in honor of Black History Month, we want to introduce you to the first African-American woman in space and a 17-year-old girl who is reaching for the stars, proving kids can dream big. Here's our friend, Rahema Ellis.
Taylor Richardson is on a mission that started with a dream.
I just thought I was a girl that wanted to go to space. Just my drawings.
But the 17-year-old says it's hard for some to imagine that she could.
Did you ever feel like your interest in science was being pushed aside?
All the time, ever since I was little, I feel like people didn't think I was serious about it. But there was a lot of people who looked down on me and always thought I couldn't do it.
Mae Jemison will be making her first trip in space today.
But history taught her a different lesson. In 1992, Dr. Mae Jemison stepped into the record books as the first African-American woman in space aboard the space shuttle Endeavour.
I was thinking about that little girl I had been on the south side of Chicago who just assumed that she would go into space.
Like Taylor, she defied expectations. For nearly 30 years, Dr. Jemison has worked teaching, lecturing, and writing to level the playing field for African-American women in science programs.
For me, the inclusion is vital. It's critical because we need all hands on deck, right? And there are people in the world right now who have incredible talent, skills, perspectives on the world who are not being included in posing the questions to the problems that we face the world today.
Since her flight nearly 29 years ago, 11 other African Americans have flown into space. Currently, of 47 active astronauts, 3 are African American women. Taylor is doing her part to build those numbers. As a speaker and activist, she's raised money for books and sent kids to movies that showcased African American scientists.
I feel like if a kid can see it, they can be it.
And those images are also important, not only for, young women of color, for example, but it's for the gatekeepers. It's important that they see young women like Taylor who have this world of knowledge and wealth of activism, as well as the science goods, right? It's important because they're making the choices right now about who gets in.
Taylor, do you feel that the sky is the limit for you?
Definitely. The universe, the sky. I feel like your mind is the limit. You can get anywhere with whatever you think. Affirmations and the way you think about yourself and what you put out in the universe is really what you can make your reality and your own destiny.
Charting a course to expand what's possible on Earth and beyond. Rahema Ellis, NBC News.
Thanks, Rahema. Now let's get to the answer to our pop quiz. The question is, what's the average distance in miles from Mars to the Sun? Is it 93 million, 142 million, or 185 million miles? Well, the answer is B, 142 million miles, according to NASA. Mars, by the way, is the 4th planet from the Sun with an average distance of 142 million miles. Earth, the 3rd planet from the Sun, is about 93 million miles away from the Sun. Well, that's going to do it for us. Parents, just a reminder, if your child has a question about any topic, email a video to us at nightlynewskids@nbcuni.com. Thanks for watching, everybody. And remember, take care of yourself and each other.